Hello students, we are back with the second part of the chapter, the fundamental unit of life. In my previous lecture, we have finished about knowing as to what is cell, the discoveries about cell by various scientists and the cell theory. So now let us look into basically the structural organization of cell. Before that, let us quickly briefly look into what is cell. If we have to define cell, we will define it as it is the basic structural and functional unit of life. What we have learned in cell theory, we have learned that besides being the structural and functional unit of life, all living organisms are composed of cells, and a cell arises from pre-existing cell. So students, let us look quickly into who discovered cell. We all know it was discovered by Robert Hooke in the year 1665 in the cork, which is commonly found in the bark of tree. Let us look at the structural organization of cell. If you look into a typical animal cell, here we have taken example of animal cell. As we can see, what are the different components of animal cell? First of all, we have the outermost covering in the case of animal cell, which is called the plasma membrane or the cell membrane. What is the function? The function of plasma membrane or cell membrane is to separate the cell from the to separate the content of the cell from the external environment. One of the most important property of plasma membrane is that it is selectively permeable in nature. It simply means that it only allows specific molecules to move in and out of the cell. Next important component of the cell besides your plasma membrane or the cell membrane, we also have various cell organelles, which include the mitochondria, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. Besides that, we have the most important component in the cell, which is the nucleus. But before going into the nucleus, let us look into the other component. Here we have the cytoplasm in the cell, which is nothing but it is the homogeneous translucent fluid in which all the various cell organelles are suspended inside the cell. Besides the cytoplasm, there are other cell organelles, which includes your ribosome, your centrioles, vacuoles, etc. But now let us look into the most important structure which is there in the cell, that is the nucleus. Why is nucleus so important? Do we know the fact that nucleus is also called the director of the cell? Why? The answer to this question is because it regulates all the metabolic activities of the cell. If we look into the structure of nucleus, what do we see? As we can see here, a nucleus is a double membrane structure which consists of the outer membrane and the inner membrane. In between there is the perinuclear space. Besides that, wherever this nuclear membrane is absent, it is referred to as nuclear pore. Besides that, the fluid which is there inside the nucleus is called the nucleoplasm, which consists of RNA and proteins, and also has chromatin fiber suspended in it. What is chromatin? It is a thread-like structure which condenses to form chromosome. during the process of cell division. Here, as we can see, the chromatin condenses to form chromosome during cell division. What is chromosome? Basically, what is there in the chromosome? We have the DNA, or the chromosome is composed of DNA and protein. What is DNA? It is the unit of heredity. DNA is basically, if we have to describe DNA, or we have to expand DNA, it is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. It is responsible for carrying the genetic information from parents to offspring. And the functional unit of DNA is the genes. What are genes? It is the unit of heredity. So with this, I conclude my today's lecture. Next topic we will learn in the next lecture. Thank you, students.